took a little break. Another thing we have to look at, we're talking about consistency and someone that, right, there's two aspects. There's the actions of the person and the way they speak. So what shows, if you're able to see the actions and the way they speak and they're consistent, that's a strong indicator that that's what's going to continue. And Trump, that's what he does. Kamala Harris is not yet doing that. And we can't just like wish for things. We're already at the end, so we have to make a decision already. People are thinking, if they have more debates, I don't know if it's applicable to sit, save that time, maybe try to make some money in the time that you would watch the debate, just because there's enough information. Each one has a long history, a few years in being in charge in the government, and we could just physically see what they did. And Trump has done an excellent job compared to what he has. And you have to know that he was already the president for 4 years, and now he knows, there's something about being a president that if you're a good one, or if a person's not yet a good one, that the direction that they were going will continue, either for good or for something that's not good, will continue, and they'll be more experienced and they'll do it better. And some people will say, well, this could have been tweaked a little better, and that could be, but no one, it's hard to get everything right at the first time, and they get better. Now, something that I did realize in the debate is that Kamala Harris didn't really care what Trump had to, what he says isn't going to change anything of, what she really thinks inside. Why do I say what she really thinks inside? Because we see that when she talks, she switches. So, we could see that. And her actions show something deeper than what she's saying. It shows that there's a whole other way that she really wants to do it, but she's afraid to say it because she knows that people will find it hurtful, find it that it will hurt their life and their families. And that's what we should be focusing on, our lives and our families, our kids, our grandkids. However, Trump, when she says something, it's true, he's responding. That's what you do when someone asks you a question. He's being a gentleman, he's trying to respond. And he did a very good job. I don't know what people are saying, did a very good job. Responded amazingly. But he's also listening. From what I could see in his face, his mind is thinking. And if she has a good point, even if she says something and she wasn't even herself planning to do it, she just said it to make other people happy, right? Which we see physically is what she does, because she says one thing, but in her actions she does something else, and we have 4 years to prove it, or 3 years and something, right, to prove it. So, it's pretty straightforward. He's actually thinking, maybe I could tweak, make things better. And this is so important in a leader, that they're able to hear someone else and be willing and understand they can make things, tweak things to be things better. And this is very important. So I do see that Trump has that. So this is another plus for him. There's another aspect, and that is he's very honest. He's trying very hard to be as honest as he can in what he's, meaning he's, like we said, it's really what we were saying, to a certain extent what we were saying before, but there's a person could do one actions and there's different prisms of how to look at it. If all the prisms in line, that shows that the person is a gem. So he's a work in progress. He's honest. He's not saying he's saying what he has done before, and if he sees a way he can do something better, he's willing to change. So this is very important. You have to understand, he doesn't need people's money. He has enough money. He just wants that the people should be safe. The people should, he's already 78. He could just, relax. If the world goes, if the world self-destructs, he lived his life. He doesn't have to deal with all of this. But no, he cares. He cares about other people. He's able to see someone else. It's an amazing ability. It's an amazing, something that not everybody's able to do in such a massive way, to go through all of this pain and anguish, and then they put audits on him and all these things. He didn't have to do all that. Only someone that really cares would do that, and he does. He really cares, and people are overlooking that. What's another important thing is how we make the decision. We have two aspects of ourselves. We have our mind and our emotions, our heart. And we have to know when we hear a debate or not, we have to have our mind must see what makes logical sense, who is right, and you have to understand, in a debate, you can't put a person's entire life in debate. So the debate is just a little glimpse. You really have to look physically in what they did. And Trump definitely did great things. Kamala Harris, there's a lot of work that she needs to do, which frankly she's not really interested in that. So, she might now say it, but she's saying something, but physically she could just solve many of the issues with her abilities right now, and she's not. So she's saying something, but her actions are showing that it's not true what she's saying. So this is very important to realize when we're making the decision. We have to see is the person being truthful. So getting back, this idea that the mind and the emotion, the heart, our mind is what will help us to find a truth with logic, and our heart will enhance. Once we found the truth, the heart now can enhance that truth that we found. And that's the way we're supposed to think. And I think that I saw, there's a whole bunch of people are, a lot of people are having, I don't know if it's a lot, but there are people that are saying that Kamala Harris did better. But when you physically listen, if you just first take your mind and then afterwards apply the heart, Trump did amazing. But if you first apply the heart, the emotion, and then the logic is only there to help the emotion, as opposed to the emotion helping the logic. So again, if the logic is, if first there's logic, which means that the heart is there to help the logic, that first there's logic and then the heart enhances it. If you look at the debate in that way, Trump did amazing. However, if you look at the debate that first is my heart, and then my logic is what tells me how my heart, which enhances my heart, then that's where we're having certain people that are, when they're thinking like that they're like Kamala Harris. So, there's a lot of people that they take family into their business, and their family member, God forbid, starts, it has nothing really to do with God. It's that person's decision, his free choice. He starts to steal. And our heart does not allow us to, ask him to kindly leave, in a nice way. Just, you tell me it's not working out. Our hearts don't allow us, but our mind wants to. And now what we're doing, since our heart's in control, our mind starts to come up with reasons why it will all work out. But really, and what happens then, there are people that they lose a lot of money. Sometimes the business closes down. A business, that you need success. When you have something that's creating success, something, then that's what ruins, that's what takes away from the business and possibly ruins it. So that's why it's so important that our first is our logic, and then our heart enhances the logic. And if you look at it that way, it seems to me that it's very clear that Donald Trump, he answered questions, he said, not everything does he know exactly yet. You have to understand that if you don't know you're going to be the president, you're not going to figure out every single thing, because you don't know if you're going to use it at the end. But most of the things he knows what he's going to do, and even and other things he has to see. He's not the president at the moment. He has to see, once he's the president, he's able to have a better picture of what to do. There's certain things that are simple. Closing the border, having the border gate go all the way around so people can't get in without being legally in, right? Legalized coming in. And there's certain things that are simple, but there are other questions that are more complicated. And you really sometimes have to be in that position of power to know what to do. So you can have different ideas, but you need to be in that position of power to know which one of the ideas do I need to do, and do I need to combine two ideas together. So you have to understand that. However, she obviously doesn't want borders, and she wants to give everybody social, health, Social Security, and health, any doctors they need, and that would completely bankrupt the system. And what would happen is no one would end up having it, and that would really be a tragedy. So you have to understand this, and it's difficult topics. So we can sometimes be locked into this. It has to be that, but Hashem, God gave us a way that we can see the light. He gave us the idea of people that we love, loved ones, people that we care about. And that has the power to overcome someone that says, I'm a Democrat, I have to vote Democrat. Right now, from the two options we have, could be closer up, something else would happen, I don't know. But right now, this is what there is. You have to choose the one that is good, that's going to do the best, and that is Trump. And I actually was very disturbed that she was talking about, the indictments that Biden, did on, he's the cause of it. That has nothing to do with Trump. He's the cause of it. And she was saying, like we're gonna let him get away with it. First of all, he if it was a regular scenario, those things never would have happened. And not only that, the person who was his competitor for the presidency, that's the one that indicted him. So the whole thing is fishy. And when you look at the court cases, you see that they're not treating him properly. And Biden had things that happened by him, and they just let it go, So you see that there's literally a lot. First, it's clear that there's tremendous dishonesty what's happening here, and he's being treated unfairly. And what did she say? She says we're just going to let him get away with it, because if he becomes the president, then everything will go away. Why would everything go away? Because it's not true, and you can't go after the president with such, it's just not going to work. So if he's not yet the president, you could do it to him. But once he's the president, there's corruption, halts at a certain point, So, and she's like, we're going to let him get away with it. Well, why not? Well, you're going to throw a 70-year-old man in jail and say, well, it's he's 78 years old. That's why I Googled it. So that's what it said. It said he's 78 years old. He's an old, just think about it. He's fighting for you, and we're hoping that you're not fighting against him. So I think for a person that's Republican, they're like, oh, well, I'm a Republican, I vote for Donald Trump. That's amazing. But for other people that are Democrats, you have to, there's something more important than Democrat and Republic, and that's our loved ones. That's our loved ones. And we have a lot of loved ones that are young, and they're going to be here in 70, 80 years. They're going to be here, and we want a good world for them, and they deserve it. And we should, and our love is so powerful that it could overcome our mind block that I have to vote Democrat if I'm a Democrat. And I think in general it's good that the country has their two parties. It's fine. But I don't know why we have to become so invested in that. I think we have to become invested in our kids, in our spouse, in our loved ones. That's where I think we have to become invested in. So with that, that's my personal opinion for what I see. But I want you to look into it. And it's relatively easy. You could Google things, there's tons of videos on YouTube. You could look, and I would encourage, instead of hearing secondhand, maybe hear firsthand and read firsthand, meaning physically things that they've done, and physically what they said they want to do, and then backtrack that and see, well, could that person do it now? And if yes, then why aren't they doing it? If there's no apparent reason why they're not doing it, obviously they're lying. And if a person says something and that's what they did in the past, and they were consistent, then obviously that's what we'll do in the future. So this is how we could figure things out. And I hope you have peace in yourself, and you have enough love for your kids that you do what's best for them.